Okay, people, welcome back to Fwoosh Tube. Today I'm gonna throw a customizing tip out there. It's nothing complicated. It's actually kind of simple. It's just, intimidating, I guess. Where you're used to paints, you get into pastels, and it's a little bit tricky. But once you get the hang of it, this is so much easier than doing a wash or a dry brush. It's another tool in your arsenal on your work desk. First of all, you're going to need pastels, acrylic, not oil-based. I don't remember how I knew these were acrylic. I bought these maybe 10 years ago. It doesn't say acrylic anywhere on the package or the box or anything. Maybe it said it on the outside or something. I don't know. But definitely, you want to go acrylic, not oil. Same as your paints. You know what I mean? You want to go acrylic, not enamel. You're going to need very fine sandpaper to get the pastel down to a dust so you can apply it. And you're going to need a small paintbrush. Now, I have this paintbrush dedicated solely to pastels. It never gets wet, that kind of thing. I don't know if that's true. I just remember reading that a long time ago. It's worked for me so far, so what can I tell you? Essentially, this technique is applying makeup. So you have a small makeup brush, you have your small makeup. It's easier to think of as just applying makeup than some complicated technique that's requires magic or something. Like I said, this is fairly easy. So I'm going to go for a shading technique. So I've picked a light brown. All you're going to do is rub it and just get some powder on the sandpaper. Easy enough. I'm going to attempt to shade X-Wing Luke's head. I picked this head because it's just a straight skin tone. I have two of them. This one has a couple of mold lines, so this is the one I keep the X-Wing helmet on. This technique is good for heads that already have a skin tone that is passable, that you like. You're just enhancing it. First of all, you just want to pick a little up with your brush. You don't want to get too much because it can get out of hand fast. All you're going to do is come into the crevices, under the hair, that kind of thing, and just kind of touch it off. If you get too much, blow it off. And it'll start clumpy, but after a minute, it just starts a shading. Come in above the chin. You're just looking for crevices. You're simulating shadow on a smaller scale. Now it's going to take a lot of loading of the brush. One swipe usually knocks off most of your pastel. You can come in under the eyes, kind of give it a shadow. Like I said, just anywhere that you feel like needs some shadow. You can make the cheeks more gaunt by coming in right here. Coming in right here on the ridgeline. But all I'm doing is shading the, important parts. Now you don't want to get crazy and do the whole face. You don't want to touch everywhere. You just want to come in where there needs to be shadow. Because you want to leave some of that lighter skin tone to contrast between the two. And it may look like nothing's happening, but like I said, it can get built up quick. I like to do around the hairline because it kind of blends everything together. You know what I mean? There's not a huge jump from skin to hair. Kind of brings the whole piece together. This probably doesn't show up on camera at all. That's awesome. Get under the eyebrows. It's much more apparent in person. This is hard to show up on video or camera or that kind of thing. It's more of an in-person kind of thing. But I'm just showing the technique. This is a technique that's hard to explain in text or forum or even pictures. So since I've been doing videos, I thought just show this. And plus it kind of dulls down the plastic sheen. I don't even know if that shows up. It's a slight contrast. I probably should have painted his lips. That way they stick out, but like I said, this is just a tutorial. You want to go heavy on the undercuts, like under the nose. To make it look more realistic on smaller figures. The light doesn't work like it does on a full-size human, so you got to come in and kind of help it along. We're going to try to come in along the jawline, kind of show that it's, more undercut than it actually is, because it's, hollow, so it needs some depth. And if you screw up, you can just wipe it off. It's just dust sitting on top of the figure. After you're finished, you're going to want to dull coat this. And you can't really see it probably on camera, but it's there. I have some finished examples. Here's a Quicksilver I did years and years ago. I went a little heavy because of how light his skin tone was. He's been sitting in a box, so there's some little dirt right there. But you can see along the hairline, and for some reason I never went back and shaded his hair, so it looks kind of odd. I also did an eye repaint. But Quicksilver was very pale. He just needed a little something to bring it back in. Now you can use it for other things. Here's Warpath, old custom again. He's kind of shaded here and there. But you can come in with blue on top of the veins just to accentuate that vein on the arms or wherever they may be. Same thing with King Thor here, or whatever Thor this is. Same thing with Thor. Add a little blue. It just puts a little tint to it. It's not a just in your face color. You have to kind of look for it to see the blue, but it's there. And then of course, here's an old repaint I did on I guess it's a Toy Biz Series 3 Wolverine variant head. I got some casts made up 10, 12 years ago, or whenever this figure came out, and did a repaint. But you can come in with black, do some shading around the eyes, give him kind of a mean, evil look. I kind of plan to do this on Star Wars Black Anakin, on his Sith head. Maybe repaint the eyes, but I definitely want to do some shading. Kind of give them that rough, dirty look. And then of course you can come in on females with red, kind of rosy the cheeks, some blue, purple, green, put some eyeshadow on, that kind of thing. It just adds a little tint, adds a little color. It's a nice technique to have when you don't want to do full-on repaint. that painting will be too heavy. I don't know why I've never done this for beards. I guess I could come in heavy on a face to do stubble, but I have another technique for that. I may show that later. If you like the video, comment, like, subscribe. If you want to see more customizing tips that are a little more complicated than bull and pop and base coating, that kind of thing, throw your suggestions down in the comments, and I'll see you on the Fwoosh.